outskirts, there are some corridors, and people
You're
have.
still looking at outskirts, but these are still homes. These are still people. Just because you see it as a business opportunity doesn't mean I have to see it as your business opportunity.
So.
I see it as their backyard.
Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the last piece that got commercial have residents right around it?
Depends on if the residents say we're fine. If residents come in here, if Stephanie came in here and said to me, that's fine, if he gives me this half acre, I'm fine with him going commercial, I would feel differently. But when Stephanie comes in here and says, this is my home, you're looking at putting something, let's just say a car wash, you're looking at putting a car wash in my backyard, then I have to respect Stephanie. Because she's asking to keep what she has, you're asking to change. And I don't see your change as positive for my town.
Well,
You're not only affecting me, you're affecting, there's 5 residents right there surrounding your property that you're gonna affect. Now, the property that Mark has got trucks coming and going, and I still hear them, Tricia still hears them, Larry still hears them. Not as bad as when Travis was in there, that was a nightmare, but we still hear the trucks, we still see the lights. They've toned down, but it still impacts all of us.
what's
Every
your
one of us.
suggestion for this 4 acres of property?
A house. I would love to see someone build a house there.
In front or to the side?
I don't really care. They can build it out in the back, in Jesse's backyard. I don't care. I would love to see a house there. I would lots rather see a house built in the middle of this residential area than some commercial garbage. It's more logical to me to put a house in residential than to put some kind of commercial garbage in the middle of a residential area.
So, in her opinion, this is a residential area. In my opinion, this is a commercial area with 3 applications around it and 2 businesses already being done. And the third one, which is this property, business being worked out of there for 30 plus years.
Nate is still residential agricultural, and he's agricultural because of the trees.
Not for long though,
Well, he hasn't applied,
not for long.
Okay,
He's
hasn't
applied
applied.
to leave the town.
and that was
Which is
already
his
turned down.
choice. That's certainly his choice.
Dare let me talk?
I can't stop you, go ahead.
Okay. No, you can tell me because you probably know what I'm gonna say.
Is this discussion meant for the public or just? the
Well, we kind
commission?
of brought them in when we start asking questions, so.
Okay.
Usually it's up here, but we brought the
Yeah, I was
public
gonna say,
in.
since I'm gonna talk, he wants
We
to shut it
mainly
down.
meant this discussion.
So,
Oh, is this one public? I don't know, we'll see what you say.
Come on, get your courage.
I just went through this, and it was a bugger. Because the people around me didn't want it. And it's amazing that these guys have commercial or have people that are going commercial around them, and you still don't want it. But I also think it's also amazing how you guys forget you can't listen to public clamor. I hope you guys can come up with a reason why you're not accepting this instead of like mine, where you didn't come up with one. Where I could have took you to court and took you for everything you had. It was pretty sad that we had to go to the commission, not this one, but to the main one to tell them what was going on. That you guys just told us you didn't want it. You're doing the same thing with him. I don't want it. What's your reason? Other than public clamor. Because this neighbor here doesn't want it, or this neighbor. She's never going to be happy, no matter what he does to that property. But he has the right to his piece of property, just like we all do. Just like you have the right to put a horse on. I don't want a horse on mine, I don't put a horse on mine. But I don't come and tell you, you can't have a horse on yours.
No, but you would tell me that I can't put a second house on mine.
If that's the way the code is, but you're changing code here. They're trying to get this commercial. Mine, like I said, was a huge deal. And I do have residential on both ends. And this guy doesn't. And it's just, isn't it amazing how now he has people that are going commercial. And if Nate Orton does not get hit, guess what? Heber City's coming in. And they're going to go right up that road. So you think, so you're going to have Heber City either way. I'm just saying, I hope you guys know what you're doing, and I hope you don't end it like you did with mine. I'm just saying, it's not happening. Because you have to have a reason why this is not happening. why you guys vote no, instead of you just don't want it because your neighbors don't want it, or you don't want it because you don't like the way it's happening. I hope you have a reason. That's all I'm saying, because he has all the right without a reason. And all those signatures are nothing, because half of them don't even live in Heber, in Daniels.
Those
Heber
signatures, Every
came,
one of them, or 105 of them are Daniel
they are
residents.
not, we've looked through those.
Yes, they are.
And
Every one
half
of them.
those,
I
I'm
will
not gonna
beg to
argue with you,
differ.
Stephanie.
Every one of
Half-
them is Daniel residents.
Those, how many, did we go and stop Heber City from impacting our town? No. And look how they impacted us. All those homes, and look what's coming now, more homes. But it's gonna be amazing that his little company is gonna impact that more than those homes or that what's coming on that corner is. It's amazing. I think you guys need to, I just am saying, I hope you have your answer of why you are stopping this as you send it to the town,
I
the
don't
council.
think it's fair to call it commercial garbage either. I don't know where those kind of comments come
I didn't say that. I did. It'll be in my backyard, so it'll always be.
It's
that
commercial
way.
garbage now.
It's
It's a
commercial
junkyard.
garbage now, and it shouldn't be there.
And Mr. Norris, so several comments throughout the last few meetings were, you guys are denying Rob, you guys are denying Rob. And I just kept my mouth shut with that, because I didn't agree with that as different people were speaking for me in those last few meetings. And you did get up and you said, now wait a minute, we're not know everything. But it sure seems like that's what it is.
Well, Rob, I can answer that. You know, if we were talking about a different piece, it was along Highway 40, and it didn't have 5 or 6 people that were totally against it. You know, I'd probably vote this property, let's go commercial. I do the same thing with the bunker property over by 189. If the bunkers would have come through with the neighbor to the west of them that owned that property, and the two of them combined come in and said, let's make these 2 pieces commercial, that makes sense to me. But the way it is now, it's just kind of an island in between RA5s. And I'm sure there's a purpose of why the bunkers wanted to do that, I'm sure of that. But to have someone come in now and say, that parcel along 189, we need to get that into commercial, and you've got industrial north and south. I mean, that's where it should go. So we're looking for those spots where it should go. I also agree with Gary on a lot of this stuff. We've got people that moved in here to town, they've had their mask on them like they're residential, and the next thing you know, we've got business in there and it's running. Now, we spent 2 years trying to regulate that and control it and come up with some rules. 2 years. And we had a lot of people come in and have public comment and make suggestions. And we still haven't been able to resolve it, still.
Well, this piece is not by itself. There are other properties that are asking for it, that are doing stuff. So yes, there are residents that are against it, and I understand it. But there are people who are for it. Now, some of the people who are for it aren't as vocal, and we don't see them here, and that would sign a petition the other way. But I understand how petitions are one-sided. I do feel like we've had a meeting, we've had a public hearing, we've had another meeting. Send it to the city council one way or another. Don't put this off again.
Don't continue it anymore.
No.
Is what you're saying.
One way or another.
That could be the next thing that comes up. We're in the middle of a vote here now.
Or against, or send,
Or
whatever.
we could end this meeting by saying, let's continue this.
Find me a cliff.
Okay, so, any more discussion? We have a motion and a second for denial. Call for the vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Still the same, 2-2.
I really think that we need some more councilmen or council members.
Or sorry, commission members.
Commission members? That might help.
Can I ask
So
why
I have a
last
motion.
meeting Mark abstained and now he's voting?
It's totally up to him.
Personal choice. I have a motion. I move we send this to the city council without a recommendation.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Discussion on this motion.
I think if we're not gonna send a yes or a no, we're not just gonna send it. I agree, it's dragged on too long. I'd like to maybe throw out another point. As I look at the map here and consider Nate Orton's property and his predicament that he's putting the city in, and financial burden of probably a possible lawsuit, of fighting a disconnect. How much money is it worth it to us to fight these kind of fights? And can we be more flexible or agreeable or be more understanding of property owners' rights here? This is a very hard piece of property to decide what is fair with everybody. It is terrible.
If Nate's able to disconnect, it makes the case to disconnect this even better.
Exactly. That's where I'm going. What happens to the next person? On up Mill Road, next piece of property, it can go, it just gets easier and easier every time. It kind of sets a precedence. So it's something to think about is if Nate, I mean, I know it's not up to us to go and propose to Nate to say, what if we did change his property to Daniel's commercial? What's holding Daniel back from allowing him to be commercial at this point, other than maybe a vote from the city council and him putting an application in? Wouldn't that be a whole lot cheaper than a lawsuit, a court battle?
If it's zoned commercial, at least the town still has some control over it. If it gets disconnected, whatever's gonna happen there can happen.
We could see 8-acre lots put in right there and turned to residential in Heber.
Which could,
Whole bunch of residents. Something referred to as some subdivisions of
or it
little
could be,
Tijuana.
or it could be the next multiple row storage unit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know the right answer either. I understand everybody's property rights, both sides. I really feel like that we either send it to the city council for a vote on their own, or allow more council, commission members to be here to help sway the vote in a fair way.
Okay, is that all the? Look good? Okay, have a motion and a second. Send it to the council without a recommendation from planning. All in favor? 3? Any opposed? 1.
Does it take 4 to make this happen? I'll change my vote. I'll go for it.
I'll call a revote.
Okay.
Please restate the motion.
I move we send this to the town council without a recommendation.
Okay, does a second stand? Who's second? Second right here, does it stand? Okay, any more discussion? All in favor of sending it to the council without a recommendation from planning? Show by the raise of hand. Okay, we have a motion of 4. Send this to the council without a recommendation from planning. Okay. Item number 3.
Will that be on the next agenda, the next council opinion?
Yes. It will be. Which is also a public hearing, I think it's the 9th. Is it the 9th?
Oh, lovely.
It's the next one. Anyway, there is a public hearing out where Will there'll be a crowd there too?
Yes,
Is it the 7th?
Is
Or
it
would
on
it be the
Monday?
second?
It's on the Monday, yeah.
Okay.
It's my bedtime. I gotta go. Thank you.
Been so much fun.
Is it the 7th?
No, the first
You're up.
Monday of August is the 6th.
The 6th? Okay.
Yeah. Mike,
Yeah.
Mike says it's right.
My calendar says
6th.
first Monday.
First Monday. Okay, item number 3, Highway 40 property, zone change from RA5 to commercial.
As a property owner, not as a commission member, I have a question on my,
For me or for the
for
commission?
you as a planning member, or planning commission, whatever your seat is there. I think you probably answered this for me before, but I'd like some clarification on it. Given that I get voted to change to commercial, and do not do any improvements on the property, I can carry the continued use on the property, just continued use indefinitely until I change the use there, right?
That's typically what happens, it's a use that, I guess that's what initiates the change of the property. The zone can change, come and go, zones can change, and the continued use. It's the same thing with if you're living in the house, somebody comes and puts industrial in or commercial, the zones change. We saw that with the county. Your use doesn't change. Nothing changes on your property. However, the county is, they are assessing taxes on the use of the property, not the zoning.
Right, I'm being taxed as a
You are,
commercial property.
you are being taxed as commercial property.
But they don't have to meet any of the requirements for anything in the commercial zone with that change, only with a change of use.
Yeah, if he's staying under a continued use, what he's doing, it wouldn't change until he applied for something to change that use. Whatever that might be, upgrade,
What property are we talking about?
the Quonset hut.
You don't have a picture of the map.
What? Oh, we've got the same picture, huh?
Yeah, it's in the same picture.
It's in the same picture.
This is what, it's a property.
So has UDOT got hold of you at all? Nothing?
Where's Woodard?
We sent them maps and then because we didn't know if we were going to go through with it. we
This is
couldn't do
my
anything.
property right along here.
It's not where his
This
house
is
is,
my-
Rex.
This is on,
This is Webster.
yeah, I bought this 2 years ago.
And there's history there, and Stephanie has been invaluable with the history on the property. She's dug up a lot on there, so as we go through these properties, we rely on her for a lot of the history. So, do we have a motion to continue if nothing's changed? Are you still waiting, working on that, or are you? I mean, is it UDOT's? I know they're hard to get hold of.
Well, I sit and vacillate on what the right thing to do is on this because of what's going on with other properties next to me. What's gonna happen to it?
So you ready for a motion to send it to council without a recommendation?
Mark can't decide, so you guys figure it out for him.
Remind me, Eric, did we do the public meeting on that one?
Yes.
That's been done.
Yes.
I guess our holdup is,
No.
we're not doing anything more more than what the continued use allows anyway, so.
So I guess other than the cost of the application, you let it lapse and decide to reapply later, but you could do that, it's up to you.
Of course, that could get tricky because where it's your property, I don't know, but what you should probably recuse yourself and we're short a couple.
So well, tonight, yeah. But other nights,
Night to do it.
code says we can send the sheriff after those that aren't here, so that might be fun.
I don't think either when the sheriff shows up to get Tom Rollins.
We might have to find a new planning commission member after that.
That'll get the front page away.
I'm gonna continue it.
Is that a motion? Okay, is there a motion to continue? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries, continue to our next meeting in August. Okay, item number 4, Kip and Wendy Bangeter, residential building permit, Southfield Road. The reason that's on the agenda tonight is because I sent out a email and I only got 2 responses to approve that, so 2's not enough. So it's back here tonight to be approved with the site plan. Site plan was attached to that email. Did everybody have a chance to review that?
I did not get the email.
Do you have a copy of that site plan with you? I could open it on my computer, but it just still didn't seem like it was a very good picture.
Eric, Kim and I did not get the email.
That's what everybody says.
No, well, if it were just me, I'd say that, but
Go back and do a
Is that
search.
a color one right there that you have, Kim? That was hard for me to see very well on my computer.
So what I did is I chased them down and had them put a dumpster in the bathroom on the site plan, because that was what the site plan was lacking.
Oh, that's construction, right?
Yes, that's for construction.
well, that's part of their plan.
Rex, don't worry, because the restrooms are parked right in the middle of your house. You're going to share with the
Did you have
public.
anything to add to this?
No, I just have I have
Doesn't one
the
of the
site plan
nicer
minus the amendments, but I thought the 11 by 17 might be
I'm
helpful.
just giving you a hard time.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the building permit with the site plan now for the,
All right, well, since I'm the one that did the motion and stopped it last time. Make a motion that we approve the building permit for Kip and Wendy Bangeter now that the site plan is available.
okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call for the vote, all in favor? Great, it's 100%, good job. That's 2 of them tonight, 100%.
I just wish Kip would have come, because I want to know what he knows that we don't, and he's building an all cement house. And it's all concrete. Yeah, he must know something we don't. Thank you.
You can't tell us though.
Of course, we have had houses in Washington, in the airport.
They're all built that way.
One here, the other got hit.
Okay, that takes us to the planning report. Item number 5. I'll give you a copy of the planning report. It's the same one the council got. What we've got going on the month of June. Oh, right. You already got one, don't you?
I hope there's nothing on here I don't know about.
I hope so too. And while you're looking them over, we have a public notice of a public hearing for a disconnect. So this public hearing will happen at the next council meeting. As you're looking over those. You do that, Ryan?
I wish, but no.
So a disconnect is dropped out of the town.
Yeah, to disconnect from the town and go back into the county.
How do you do that? Looks like we're all gonna be commercial out here.
Yeah, you can go in the county and be industrial.
You've got some right across the road.
Coming this way quick.
So the disconnect is you apply for disconnect to the town, they hold a public hearing, and then the lawyers argue.
We're right on the edge of Bingley's, which is commercial or, yes, industrial.
I don't know what it is over there anymore. Charleston annexed that, so it's all in the town of Charleston.
Any extra papers?
What's that?
Any extra papers?
Which one do you need?
Just the disconnect.
I'll send you one.
I didn't have extras, well, it's transferred, so.
Thank you.
Do you need
So, maybe for some clarification, besides these,
What do you have, the disconnect?
on the disconnect, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can we go on the disconnect?
Okay,
It gives the property address near Daniel Road.
yeah,
The corner section measurements and stuff.
yeah, because there's no address in this. It's in the back, it doesn't face Daniel Road, so.
Okay. So it would be,
How would you explain it?
They're amending it to include the
Would-
parcel that affects
anybody else?
Daniels Road to be disconnected on as well.
Or that,
so you're talking the house
The house, the
And
parcel down in the bottom corner,
that goes back into
Yeah.
Daniel's? Okay.
trying to just disconnect it all.
so there'll be an address on the second notice probably.
So actually, is there actually two different parcels at that point then, or just one? It's probably
Yeah.
owned as one
They
piece
should
of
be-
property.
Amending the disconnection by now, so. Yeah, so two parcels.
So that notice got sent out in the wave today. To hold the public hearing. The law only allows us so long, we have to hold a public hearing. So that's what we do, we set the public hearing, and so that public hearing is set. I don't know what will happen on the amendment.
What's the amendment for?
The amendment's gonna include the house.
Include the
Sounds
house
like
that's on
they're
Daniel
adding
Road.
some property.
Yeah, that one way it has the
This may
physical
have to be in a
address.
separate, no, I should say.
It could be a separate public hearing
Didn't make it.
after the amendment, so.
Okay.
So we have that one that's coming up, you probably want to be aware of in the next council meeting. Everybody okay with the planning report?
It's
Um,
across the street from that.
what about what's happened with the Blaine Wind property division and zone requirements?
I had an engineering company call me and wanted to know what the code was referring to, building a subdivision in the back of that property, and I just referred him to the town code, so.
Oh, so there's not been
What is the address?
any other discussion other than that?
Yeah,
Why?
Our shop has an address.
Your house does.
The shop does, the road is 2490, where the house is 2454.
I was doing that more for some clarification
Yeah.
of which pieces of property. I had a good idea, but
It's somewhere
I
near
wasn't
there.
sure
Somewhere
if
near
maybe
there.
some of the other council members
It's a
had
big
an
stretch.
idea
It's a
also.
big
but
stretch to cover what's near that road.
You might want to have a look before it's time to show up to the meeting and get it all dumped in their laps.
yeah, so that, just a Blaine Wood property was just looking at putting a subdivision back there, wondering how big the right of way had to be to build the road back in. So I don't think they quite have the 60 feet, I think they have 30, so they're gonna have to do some property boundary adjustment. Acquisition or something to get it through there, so.
That's as far as it's gone. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen no plans yet, nothing submitted.
Looked like the Robert Perezzo, or however you'd say his name's been taking care of some weeds and.
Yeah, he's
Clean
been
up
working
his
on the
lot.
weeds, yep. Yep, he's been working on the weeds over there, so he's pretty busy.
Where's his house?
He is on,
Boots' old house.
oh, okay. I don't know what else that was.
Every 5 years, we have to look at this document, the general plan, So we need to review that, make sure that's still what we have in mind. If there's no changes, we don't hold a public hearing. If there is changes, we'll go into a public hearing. So this is on the website. It's still the general plan, unless you guys figure that we're headed some other way, this doesn't fit in the town general plan, then we'll hold a public hearing then. We'll probably put that on the agenda for next meeting, and we'll discuss the general plan. Any changes? If there's not any, then we'll move it to the council, because we need to do that every 5 years. The law says. Okay? Takes us to item number 6, approval of the June 20th minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review those? Any changes or additions?
Are those minutes published somewhere?
What's that?
Are those minutes published somewhere?
They will be after these guys approve it.
We looked on your website and haven't seen any published for a long time. Planning commission.
They're all underneath the one heading. They don't sit under the, they just put it under the, all the minutes are under one heading. So if you open up the planning, yeah, there's nothing there. Because what they did is the minutes all go to the website at the state level, and so everything's just on one line published.
Danielstown website.
Yeah, and also on the state website, it's published there too.
But on the town, it's just under meeting minutes, it's not under planning meeting minutes.
Yeah,
County website's the same way.
that was a change of the state. The state made a change everything, so. The legislature didn't think everybody was doing it, so they said, do it our way. Okay. Any corrections or additions on the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Any discussion on the motion? None? Call for the vote, all in favor? 100%, that's the third one.
One more.
Right on. Okay, item number 7, motion to adjourn.
I'll motion that.
Okay, I have a motion, is there a second? All in favor? There you go. I didn't figure you may want to discuss it.